Hey everyone, I'm Rich. Another year brings another iPhone, and this time we're on season 16 where there's gonna be a lot of heartbreak and drama, especially with, what's the girl's name? She said something about her? I'm just playing. Here we go, iPhone 16 Pro Max. This year, I don't see any noticeable improvements that personally wowed me as someone who's coming from the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Yes, there is a common stereotype that each year iPhone barely changes anything, but I personally thought that the changes from 11 to 12 and 13, 14 brought something new each time. Anything like the dynamic island to bigger camera, the always on display, USB-C were all big jumps for me. But this year, the jump from the 15 Pro Max to 16 wasn't that big for me, and probably the least amount of changes I've seen ever from an iPhone. Let's get right into it. Unboxing this was as eco-friendly as we would expect from Apple, maybe so much more so since they don't want to give us any more hardware. I mean, it's literally just a phone, a 100-centimeter USB-C cable, and a pamphlet. Sadly, no more Apple stickers, which I really miss. I need to collect those a lot and put it on something like my fridge or my cat's litter box or even my Yeti cooler. Anyways, I want to start off my review by letting you know some of the things I was looking out for. Like this year's bigger screen by 0.2 inches, which also made the phone slightly bigger. Side by side, it's not that big of a jump. This also means that any case from the 15 Pro Max won't work with the 16, unfortunately. I had this really nice full grain leather case, which didn't fit here. It's really cool, right? This is a 16 Pro Max. It's not gonna go in. This also resulted in a slightly thinner bezel. Again, for the average consumer, I don't think you'll notice. You just gotta be the one to look out for it. As you can see right here, side by side, the 15 Pro Max. I can't unsee it now, and I really like the change. You know, thinner bezels, I'm all for it. It makes the 16 Pro Max look even bigger, which it is. Thinner is sleeker, and it's great. And I was already a little bit concerned about the bezels being a little bit too thin on the 15 Pro Max. Parts of my hand would kind of bleed over the screen and cause some like accidental inputs in games or even texting. On the 16 Pro Max this year, it's even more pronounced. If you're like a normal person that puts a case over the phone, maybe it won't be that much of an issue, but if you're running this raw dog naked, you might notice it like me. I was hitting things on accident. That's just the nature of the thin bezels in general. On the outside though, everything is pretty much the same other than the new camera button, which I have some things to say about later in this video. It's rocking the latest generation ceramic glass shield on the front and back. MagSafe charging was boosted up by 10 watts, which I noticed the most and appreciated much more than 15. I noticed I was able to get like 20% out of this thing in like 30 minutes using a wireless charger. I used to be so great at telling the difference between the phone models of the 11, 12, 13, 14. With the 15 and 16, it barely looks different from afar, especially since I got the same natural titanium colorway. Both phones feel great in the hand, with the 15 Pro Max feeling slightly smaller. They're solidly built, the paint finish is super well done, and they don't feel slippery while holding them. Yeah, it's like super hard to tell, but just look at the difference here. As we would expect, new phones, new chips equals better performance. The Pro models this year have a new thermal substructure on the 16 that's supposed to help with heat dissipation, and I, with some other people on the internet, are very impressed with how this phone is handling temperatures. After half an hour to an hour of usage, usually on FaceTime or gaming, it stayed relatively cool. Another time I found that the 16 Pro Max did a really good job at keeping it cool was during driving. I usually have this like MagSafe attachment on my car vent, and so I'll snap it on, and the sun usually will hit this phone at an angle, and I'll have it on for like an hour for GPS. A lot of other phones easily got hot, but with this one, it didn't get as warm. And I'm not sure if any of you tech nerds heard from last year's iPhone 15 Pro Max overheating issue with the release of iOS 17. If you guys do, leave a comment down below, but that was pretty bad. I remember when this thing first launched, everyone was complaining how this got hot so easily. I'm glad they rectified that issue this year. Anyways, the new A18 chip score higher on Geekbench by just like 1,000 more points than last year's A17, which, you know, this is good. With the specs side by side, it even looks like the S24 Ultra is doing well here too. I'm personally just excited to see how next year's phones will be. But yeah, scrolling across the UI, navigating through the home screen felt as fast as ever. Launching apps and games felt almost instantaneous, but the same could be said about the 15 Pro Max. But in daily real-world use, I can't tell the difference. Also, the battery milliamp capacity has been increased to 4,685 milliamps, which is a 5.7 increase that Apple claims can get 4 more hours longer than the 15 Pro Max. It's all day battery life for sure. I can get 3 to even close to 4 full days use of battery on this phone. I usually have my charge limit set at 85% and have optimized battery charging on just to preserve the battery life later on. I do this on the 15 Pro Max as well, and the 15 Pro Max battery health is still doing really nice. I definitely recommend turning that on and taking a look at that while you guys can. But in a nutshell though, hardware wise, great job with the cooling and thermal design, great job with the battery life here. Now with the cameras, there are a few things I want to talk about, starting off with the elephant in the room, that nice and new action button. It's a physical, mechanical button that depresses when you click on it, but it's also accentuated with some haptic feedback inputs as well. With just one click of the camera button, you can bring up the camera app. I could have also done the same thing with the action button on the 15 Pro Max. I guess Apple's just adding more buttons in now for us. Now, it seems like a very niche thing for many people to learn and appreciate if they took the time to invest into it. I'll put up a Reddit post here and something I found on the official Apple website. For what it can do, if you light press the button, it can bring up some different controls like zoom, photographic styles, exposures, tone, and more. Holding it down hard will take a video, and once you pick up your finger, it will stop. You can slide through the controls, and I really tried my best to use and love it, but I simply can't wrap my head around it. I found myself taking a lot more accidental pictures because I'm pressing the button too hard sometimes. As it's not always registering my haptics. Maybe I press down lightly or hard. It's very cumbersome through this small mini menu that they pull up here. And when I do take those accidental pictures, I gotta go back and delete it. And it just adds one more extra step that I really don't need. I personally think I learned most of the controls, if not all. And it did take me a little bit of time, I put in to read the articles and get outside and test it. But I found out that the more I used it, it just really wasn't all that useful to me. I could have already done all these controls on the regular menu on this screen, and same thing with the 15 Pro Max. It just seems like another added thing which I personally didn't need sometimes. To me, it's really giving MacBook Pro touch bar vibes, if you guys remember that. Trust me when I say this, you're not missing out on a single thing. When it comes down to photo quality though, you're not missing out either. The camera hardware is basically the same with the exception of an improved ultra wide that's slightly larger. This will help with macro photography. Anyone looking to get real close to the subjects will appreciate this a lot since it can shoot up to 48 megapixels as well. And photos are what we would expect from Apple. Great, sharp, and fast. Both phones do a terrific job capturing color and contrast, giving us an image that's well balanced, natural, as well as making it pop. Apple iPhones tend to do a really great job when it comes to cameras being able to quickly lock on faces, objects, and just different types of lighting. There were a few photos that looked a little computery in my opinion, like this selfie, which I'll pull up right here. I'm not sure why, but my eyes look a little bit hazy and the hair didn't really register on the lens. As you can see right here, it's kind of gray. But at least you like these sample shot photos. They're really good cameras, both of these. In a nutshell, it's really hard to compare these phone cameras because they're just so similar, and even in video too, everything is recorded here in 4K in the best possible quality. Some of you camera enthusiasts will appreciate the new 120 frames per second Dolby Vision option. So now you can get some really cool 120 frames per second video and slow that down to 60 or even 30. And just another thing I really appreciate about Apple is just how seamless switching between the lenses are while taking video. As you can see here, it's really nice and smooth. Doesn't look as jittery, and the stabilization coming out of the iPhone is just simply amazing. Another new feature they added, which for some reason I don't know why Apple decided to keep this on just the 16 Pro Max. It seems like they kind of feature locked it to this, are the new photographic styles. I think this personally was the only upgrade I enjoyed most this year software wise. With this, you can go through the styles and it'll pull up a little square which you can use your fingers to adjust the intensity of how much you want it to. It's really nice. Same thing with the new audio mix feature that's not on the 15 either. You can adjust the audio you recorded even more to isolate a person's talking in the camera or increase noises for certain things like in the background. Now this feature is not really new in the tech space. Android has been doing this for a little bit now. Lastly, I know that they're going to be releasing a lot of new Apple AI features later this fall, which I will certainly like to try out, like smarter writing tools that can reword, rephrase, and just summarize a bunch of things like a ChatGPT, a built-in image generator, AI search in videos, and improved Siri and cleanup, which allows you to remove certain things in the background, which again, Android has been doing for a little bit now, like Samsung and Google. But yes, having already tried some of these features on the Google Pixel 9 Pro XL, you can watch my video review in the last video there. I don't have the highest expectations for Apple AI, but ultimately, should you guys buy the iPhone 16 Pro Max, I think just buy it now for what it is. If you're coming from an older iPhone, like a 13, a 12, and 11, you'll definitely notice a jump, and this is a real treat for you. But if you're coming at a 15 Pro Max, or if you just want a new phone in general, want to save a couple bucks, I would personally go with the 15 Pro Max and try to find it used or at a different retailer and save yourself a couple bucks. If you can find a good deal on this on websites like Amazon, Refurbished, or even Back Market, I also made a video about that too if you guys want to take a look at that. They have a lot of good refurbished tech over there. I usually buy my stuff a lot from them. But yeah, iPhone Season 16, Season 15. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think about this year. Any questions, comments, concerns. Tell me if you're going to be getting the new phone. What do you like about the iPhones and the changes this year? Talk to me down in the comments below. I want to hear you guys speak. I'm bored. I'm lonely. I'll reply back to some of your comments, all right? But yeah, That's all I got for today's video, guys. Until the next one, see you then.